What's up, everybody? Whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Periscope, and whether you're listening to this on the podcast on Anchor later, somewhere, some idle Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, don't really matter. It's Sanchez 405. We're back here on the Warpath, and we have the mastermind behind the Washington Football Addicts here with us today as we'll go around. And I don't need to introduce these cats, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We'll start out with Rodney, and we'll go around the horn. Rodney, what's up, Murphy, man? How you doing?
I'm good, Corey. Thanks for having us on, man. Really excited to do this. It's been a long time coming. And like, we had said before we hit record, it's hard for us within the Washington Football Addicts to get together. So it's dope for the four of us to come together and join your pod. So we've been together since about 2015. August is when I put the group together on Facebook, and it's really grown since then. Known Steve, Deb, and Phil pretty much since day one. So it's been a fantastic ride. We've been doing the podcast for about the past year, but it's awesome, man. So we're really enjoying what we're doing, and glad to be part of your show, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys being on here. Dev, what's up with you, man? How you doing? Coming off that suspension off of Twitter.
Oh man, I'm doing perfectly fine, man. Thanks for having us all on. Like you said, we usually don't all even get together on our own damn podcast, but hey, we're happy to be here with Corey on the Warpath. Let's get this thing cracking, man.
That's right. And the man who was working behind the scenes with me to get this all together, Steve, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's up, brother? Mr. Sanchez, thank you for having us, man. We are blessed to be a part of this. And like everybody said, man, it's always fun we can get together, and even more we can do with people like yourself. So appreciate it, bro.
I appreciate you, man. And then we have Washington Football Fan royalty over here as well, last but not least, Mr. Phil, Swaggosaurus Rex. Phil, how you doing, brother?
The professor's in the house. The fan ambassador is here. Happy to be here, and we're going to start off right now.
That's right. I'll just drink the hard stuff, the water, because I talk too much crap. I don't need alcohol behind it. And y'all,
I got mine too.
If y'all are, make sure you go and subscribe to Washington Football Addicts on I'm saying Facebook. Also, you got to join the group, and also here on YouTube. All that description, all these gentlemen's Twitters are all in the handle. Also, if you're on Periscope, you can go and click on there as well. So go ahead, check them out. They do some great work there. And fellas, we're gonna dive right into it. So I work on the side, and I do a radio show, and I got to talk to Phil Steele, guy who does the college football pamphlet, and his biggest things every year is biggest surprise, most improved. So we're going to go around the horn. We're going to talk first of all about who's going to be our biggest surprise coming into the Washington football team in 2021. It could be somebody on the roster. It could be somebody who's just coming in here. So Rod, I started with you at first. I'll start with you again. And who do you think is going to be your biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise for me, man. I'm gonna jump off the ledge here and say Derek Forrest, rookie out of Cincinnati. So I'm looking forward with, and I don't want to jump too far ahead in the pod, but I think that he's going to be a surprising player. I think that, like a Cam Curl last year, he'll probably start the season as a special teams player and a starter reservist, or really a player reserve. But then he'll have the opportunity to start potentially later in the season, or if something else happens on the roster, he.
Did he freeze on us, or was that me freezing?
No, I think he froze on us.
Oh, all right. We'll come back to him then. And Dev, hey Rod, I think you unfroze there. We missed the last part of what you said there about Derek Forrest. Oh, okay. We'll come back to you. Live television.
Great value internet.
I didn't say that. Hey, Dev, what do you think?
Internet smash sponsored by Big Bay and Shasta.
That internet's hitting like Landon Collins coverage.
Man.
So
internet hitting like light skinned dudes from the 3-point line, bro.
We'll get him back in here. But Dev, who do you think is gonna be your biggest surprise this year?
I think Khalid Hudson. I think he has a chance in starting to maybe Will linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
He's also one of those guys that can fit in that Buffalo scheme where he could play a strong safety, linebacker hybrid. He plays strong safety in college. He's about 220, 225. He's a 4-5 guy, I think. Slower 4-4 guy. I think Khalid Hudson is going to be could be a starter and a good player for us last year. I think when he started the one playoff game, he had a good game. I think he had like 8 total tackles.
Yeah, he showed up in that playoff game. I think.
Right, he's the only linebacker
that
that played well. In sub packages, they had Holcomb in, but I mean, they got killed. Bostic got killed every which way with right.
Hey, he did knock Andy Dalton out. That's all I can say. So,
knock Andy Dalton out.
Yeah. Phil, what are your thoughts on this one? Who's going to be the biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise, and a man who's going to really be pushing people for playing time is going to be Benjamin St. Juste, the Canadian corner. We don't have a big physical corner like he is. Somebody who presses on the line, 6'3", 210-pound corner. Little raw, but I was a big fan of his coming out of college. And the only thing that's going to stop him from getting playing time is the fact that he's got Kendall Fuller and William Jackson ahead of him. But
if he gets burned, I'm calling him Canadian bacon.
No. It's all right. I think he's going to be as smooth as Canadian Mist. He's going to be as smooth as Canadian Mist. Thing is that he may end up pushing one of those corners into the slot, one of the outside guys, because he is built to be an outside guy. He had a great minicamp. I think he's going to make the bench corners, the bench defensive backs. He's going to be leading that group.
So we've got Crown Royal coming up there, that Canadian whiskey. So St. Juste. What about you, Steve?
So I'm going to be the dark horse and go Troy Apke. No, I'm just kidding. And then we ain't going Troy Apke. We going.
Oh, he got removed for that one. No, I'm just.
Oh, damn!
You said a cuss word on here. I'm not trying to lose my channel now.
Did I curse? If I cursed, I apologize. I'm not a big cursor.
You said that A word. You said that Troy.
Okay. That's Dev's boy, man. That's the cap for Troy. No, so I'm gonna go with the new tight end John Bates. We've been really comfortable with Logan Thomas, and I think we're excited where he's going. Hopefully they resign him soon, but I think John Bates is going to surprise everybody. I think we're going to have 2 of the almost identical sort of tight ends because Bates can do it all. And if Logan learns how to block better, we got some pretty good tight ends. They're not going to take the top off. They're not going to stretch the field, but they will be open all day long. So John Bates.
Yeah, and that you stole that from me. I love John Bates. I like the track athlete, the skill, the ability to catch. I like this dude. I like John Bates a lot. I think he can sneak up and surprise some people. And Rod, I'll let you finish what you said about Derek Forrest because you kind of got cut off there.
Yeah, I had the great value internet moment, man. I apologize for that, man.
Okay.
So yeah, Derek Forrest, coming out of Cincinnati, I think that his frame, his build, his capability is something that we're potentially been missing. We know that Landon Collins is the current starter in that strong safety slot, and Jeremy Reeves played pretty well last year. So I'm looking at Derek Forrest potentially being a starter, supplanting Jeremy Reeves and perhaps Landon Collins, like I said, if a roster move occurs. So more to follow with that one.
Okay.
Sorry for the call earlier too, man.
Hey, don't worry about it, man. And just do some housekeeping here. What's up, Brian Harden? Anna in the house. Detroit Lions Talk with Micro Mike. What's up? We have everybody up in here. Best Detroit YouTube maker in the business. Armand, what's up? Jason, how you doing? Franklin, Gunner is up in here as well. And let's see who else we got here. And I think we touched it. ProTech is up in here. Tony, Spider Monkey as well. How y'all doing? Thank you for stopping by, and make sure you subscribe to these fine gentlemen here over there at Washington Football Addicts. And so I'll switch the tone of it now. So this is somebody who's going to need to be on the roster. The most improved, and before y'all steal mine, I'm just going to say it right now. My most improved, as long as he plays, Sadiq Charles. That's all there is to it. All I got to do is play a drive. All he's got.
I wonder where he's going to play though.
I mean, he could be on special teams as long as he's healthy, man. I mean, he can put him out there, but I don't.
Left guard.
Yeah.
Over Wes Schweitzer, however you say his name.
That
guy balled up, man. That guy balled up last year.
I think Landon's going to be our left tackle, man. So I have him as a guard.
Yeah, but over who? He's also got Eric Flowers back.
I think go ahead, Dev.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say, and I've been saying that all year. I honestly think they should release Sheriff or trade him. I honestly believe that you can't pay a guard $20 million next year, man. What are you gonna do? You know,
and I agree. I agree with you on that.
I hate to see it go. I wish we could negotiate maybe a 13, 14 a year deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be cool with that. But if you can't, man, you gotta let that dude go. And I think maybe that's why they brought Eric Flowers in, because they know he can play now. And then you have Wes and Charles playing the other guard or fighting it out. I'm going West.
Yeah, I think life, death, taxes. What they say in life is death, taxes. Brandon Sheriff being out for a month, so I think that he may be able to kick their right guard eventually. But I'll ask you, Dev, since you kind of you gave me a rebuttal there. Who do you think is going to be the most improved player this year? You're on mute too, brother.
Sorry, man. I'm debating. I want to say Gibson, but it's basically only because if he's not hurt, if he has good enough year where he starts from day one and he's not hurt, I'm gonna go Gibson. But I'm gonna surprise all of y'all, and I'm gonna go Taylor Heineke.
Huh?
You got to expand on that.
If he starts, wouldn't he be the most improved player? If he starts day one and makes it all year, who would be a more improved player than him?
He's already on the T-shirt that Steve owns.
Yeah.
He's an after improved.
Bam! Bam!
He's wearing it.
I don't even like this dude. I just bought this to piss everybody off.
By the way, I'm not rooting for Heineke. I'm rooting for whoever's going to win.
I don't even like Heineke, man. I just bought to piss these guys off.
I don't care who starts.
I hate to segue like that on it, but you saw they released the quarterback's pictures today, and this dude's already broken. He's already in the open box lot at Best Buy right there. He done already cut $200 off the price of that TV with the when he got hit up in the head with the Ron called him old Clubber Lang. So that I don't know how that bodes in the future, but if he's getting hurt in OTAs, we'll see. But
I did Washington a favor. I photoshopped that photo for them, man, and put it on their page. Like, you got to take those butterfly stitches off Heineke's head, man. Come on, give him a clean picture. What are you doing?
That's a tattoo. But Phil, what do you think, man? Who's going to be the most improved?
Well, real quick, I will say this: when they put those pictures up on Instagram, Heineke commented with, all he said was the homies, and he had 3 pictures. He had a picture of an old man, or he had an old man emoji. He had a dove emoji for Kyle Allen, and for himself, he had a bandaged head emoji. So, give Taylor Heineke credit; he's got a sense of humor, if nothing else. Yeah. Most improved, I'm going to say Antonio Gibson.
Okay.
He produced well last year when he played, especially when they gave him the ball. But he was kind of raw. He's still learning the position, to make the cuts and everything else. You saw the progress over the season. I think that's going to all come together year 2. And if he can play 16 games, I could see 1,200 yards rushing and more receptions out of him, because I think they're working with him on his he has a habit of body catching balls. And I think they're really working with him on hands catching. And if he can get that down, he can be a real threat out of the backfield.
Okay. What about you, Steve?
Man, so Phil took mine. I was kind of going along the same lines, but just to be different, I'm gonna also say Cole Holcomb, as one of the homies in the comments made. It's gonna be.
Dan Snyder.
I know, right? It's gonna be hard though, because depending on where they play Holcomb, he's gonna be competing with Jamin Davis for playing time, and I think Jamin Davis fits that Luke Kuechly role for Ron. So I don't know where that puts Cole Holcomb specifically, but if he's healthy, I believe Cole Holcomb will be most improved person on the team come 2021.
Weak side linebacker.
Strong side.
Or strong side. You can play both.
Khalid Hudson will be weak side. Okay. Practically a safety.
All right, Rod, you up to bat, man. Who do you have most improved?
Cam Curl, the 7th round pick out of Arkansas last year. So here's the thing. We all looked at Cam Curl and we loved him. He was a 7th round pick. He outperformed what he was expected to do. Was a bench player to start the season, special teams player. Started at weeks 4 and 5, starting 42 and 53% of the snaps. He was on the bench again for weeks 6 and 7, and then came 100% full-time starter week 8. Mm-hmm. Now those final 9 weeks, man, this is huge for me, and I think for all of us. He played 100% of the snaps in 7 out of those 9 games. Anomaly versus Pittsburgh, 86% of the snaps, and then week 16 versus Carolina, 95% of the snaps. But to caveat that, he allowed 73.6% completion percentage. So not really great for a free safety. Mm-hmm. But I think that he's going to improve so much that he'll be a Pro Bowl player this year for the Washington football team secondary. So Cam Curl, a huge season out of that kid.
Hot take.
I'm excited, man.
Let's go get Charles Barkley. Guarantee.
That was terrible.
Terrible, kid. Terrible. But
terrible.
Well, speaking of terrible, and I didn't put this on the list, so we pivot here. But since it was in the comments that Dan Snyder has found the Lord, just give me y'all's instant thoughts on the NFL. No paper trail, although we know when you go buy a Twinkie at the gas station and a beer, you're going to get a receipt. You're going to have a paper trail. I'm just going to ask you this, Phil. What were your initial thoughts on that? I know sometimes as fans, we are selfish and we're like, whew, we got off the hook. But I mean, from a human aspect, it's kind of like no business would ever let that happen.
Well, no, they wouldn't. But what happened is about what I predicted. I called BS on that Junkies leak that said that Snyder was going to be recommended to be removed as owner, or he was going to be suspended for a year. I said none of those things are going to happen. We have yet to get a real smoking gun connected to Dan. Everything is about Dan basically giving too much freedom to the people under him to supposedly manage, and he didn't provide oversight over them. But that isn't a strong enough offense on his part. That's just being too hands off. My other response to that was, my other thought was, Chris Russell owes me an apology still. I'm going to be stomping on this one every time this subject comes up, because I questioned that Junkies leak, and on Twitter, Chris Russell directly called me an idiot for how dare I doubt the honesty of Jason Bishop. Come on now, man.
Yeah.
Not buying it at all. I said, give me something more. I was like, a leak like this isn't going to them. It's gonna go to an Adam Schefter or somebody like that. It's not going to go to the Jason Bishop.
The Shasta of reporters, you're trying to say?
Mm-hmm. Jason Bishop is the Diet Right of reporters.
I don't know Bishop, man. He might be nice.
No,
he's a stain on all the Mathagrads. Those of you in the DC area know exactly what I mean.
But you bring up a good point too, Phil. Where is we talk about accountability? Because I think a lot of us nothing was really anybody with kind of force that. Nothing really was going to happen to Dan as far as losing this team. Everybody was like, if you got a little bit of common sense, you were like, this team, you know, he might get paid. He might have to pay a fine or something like that. But on the other hand, we have not heard anything about that Junkies League, because in a way, that is you can sue somebody for that, honestly. And they were talking, because I remember
he's already done it to that Indian media company.
Exactly. Sheehan talked about. Oh, go ahead, Deb.
Obviously, a Shar, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Dwight Schar got banned from ever owning an NFL team.
Yeah.
That tells you
something went
on.
on.
No, that does. Yeah, Dwight Schar, and they were saying that him and Snyder were kind of butting heads at this towards the end, and a lot of people tried to make it out to be Fred Smith, the guy at FedEx, for all the intents and purposes. But I think the accountability with the junk, and everybody loves the Junkies. Everybody has loved them for years. So, you know, we won't say anything bad about the Rooster or the Junkies here. So besides, Chris might need to get a haircut or something, but he was living life hard because Pete wasn't on there today. So, Steve, what are your thoughts, man?
Man, I unpopular opinion, especially amongst my boys here, but Snyder should have got the book thrown at him. He should have got much more done to him. $10 million is not. It's 0.004%. Not even 1%.
They said today that they said today the fine's not even directly his fine.
Mm-hmm. He came out on top of this whole situation. He get to pick his predecessor to work in the shadows. I'm alternate CEO, co-manager. If you watch The Office. I don't got to pay any money because someone else is paying this money, and I did all these good things proactively. Now look at me. I've done no wrong. Like he came out on top of this whole situation. He came out better on this whole situation. Where is the accountability? It's the rest of the NFL teams has this same amount of dirt somewhere, so they're not going to punish one of their own. That's what it comes down to. That's my personal opinion. I could be in the wrong.
If Irsay can remain an owner of a football team, Dan Snyder should.
I'm not saying anything about 17. They should have suspended him for 1 year. It would have been much happier. Produce a written report. But redact the written report. I know it's a cop out because of sensitivity. Redacted reports get released all the time. We'll have no idea because there's no written report. So all we can do is speculate, and it's nonsense.
Yeah, and I think with Irsay, they didn't want him to go on the field because he would have like snorted up one of those lines and thought it was something he was getting high off. But I'm not going to make fun of that man's.
Irsay had a dead body in his apartment, bro. That's a whole another level.
Yeah. There's one other thing we have not considered is that maybe once the investigation was done, maybe they're just. And this is one thing you say this and people go nuts because they can't possibly be true. Maybe there just wasn't a lot of fire amongst this smoke. And maybe they could not find anything corroborating some of these allegations.
Then release the report. Some of them release the report. Release the report.
I agree. I mean, if they have a report, I mean, unless there's so much redaction that you're literally looking at pronouns only.
From what I saw online, the reason there's no written report is that there was a lot of non-disclosure agreements signed.
Also, there was a lot of women who didn't
want to Crowell's comment, and we're talking about the women that didn't get any justice. On the surface, it perhaps looks that way. Perhaps that's the truth. We don't know. The five of us talking on the stream don't know.
Right.
The Commodores probably don't know either. But if they're signing a non-disclosure agreement, typically that means that there's money involved. Like, people are not going to shut up and stop talking about something unless they're compensated for their injury, their pain, their grief, their suffering, whatever. And as far as Dan Snyder not getting punished enough, I agree with you, Steve, but I think that the NFL, unfortunately, has set a precedent. We talked about Irsay. You could talk about Robert Kraft up in New England, human trafficking and all this other shit down in Florida. It's unfortunate. It sucks. I don't know what the right answer should be. Whether you strip him from his team for ownership and force a sale, I don't know if they go that far. I mean, you look at the Los Angeles Clippers a couple of years ago. The dude made some racial remarks, and they forced him to sell the team. And then the dude in Carolina a couple of years ago, something similar, forced him to sell the team. I don't know. So I look at it like this. They had a female investigator, Beth Richardson, I believe her name was.
Wilkinson.
Yeah.
So she led the investigation. She provided the report to Roger Goodell, whether it was written or whether it was an auditory response report. They were happy with what they got, and they levied the fine against them. He stepped to the side, whether it's voluntary, he was told by the NFL. So I don't know. Like, for me as a fan of the organization, I just want to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to ignorantly move forward and say, hey, like, just hush those women. I don't really want to talk about this topic, but damn, like we have so much negativity in this franchise year in and year out. I mean, here we are, we're still going through the name change, and then this year we're dealing with sexual harassment allegations and, fines. I'm over it, man. I just want to have a good, competent football team moving forward, man.
I wish he would just give these ladies, like, help them find out that if you're not responsible for any of these actions, help those ladies find justice from the guys that are responsible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, you've already fired them, but maybe that's not enough in some of these cases. You know what I'm saying? So how about you just put your money where your mouth is and help these ladies, whether it's their lawyer fees or help them find some sort of justice for what has happened to them. That's all I wish.
And I kind of, going back to your point there about like hearing these women's story and everything. I remember the young lady that came out in the Washington Post article and kind of gave a glimpse into what was going on, because at the end of the day, this is somebody's job. Wherever we work at, this is their job. This is their livelihood at the point. And then going back to the owners protecting each other. What do they always say? Deion Sanders said it on NFL Total Access a lot of times. You have to protect the shield. The shield is not the players. It's not the coaches. The shield is the owners. That's what it is. That shield is the owners, and that was representative of what went on here. But like you said, we've got so much negative coverage on this team all the time that I mean, honestly, I think they just try to pull hairs and pluck hairs just to find something bad. But if there's something that we need to hear these women's stories, they need to be out there and do this. And Dan Snyder, it's under you. You got to be responsible for whatever happens. You can't plead ignorance, because that's not leadership. And if you're trying to lead a franchise, an organization, that's just piss poor leadership from the top, and it trickles down to the bottom. With that, we'll move from that topic. But I thought that was a great insight by all four of you guys. They've got the top. I did a top 10 this year. And I wanted to just go around the table, and we'll start with Phil on this one. I think are we on Phil or are we on Steve now? Because I don't remember if did I lose track?
Steve, because you went to be first on the.
What kind of water are you drinking, Corey?
What'd you say, Ron?
What kind of water are you drinking, man? You can't be forgetting that. I'm just teasing.
Russian water.
Vodka. Drinking that St. Juice, that Crown Royal over there.
Drinking that other stuff.
Yeah. Let's go with Steve then. And Steve, I know you had some time, so give me just ramble off who your top 5 are going into this year. It can be newcomers. It can be players currently on the roster.
Okay, top 5 across the whole team. We'll go Terry. We'll go Chase. We'll go Terry, Chase. Let's go Sheriff. That's 3. I'll go Jonathan Allen. That's 4. And then we'll go Antonio Gibson 5.
Okay. Gibson 5. Okay. All right. What about you, Rod?
All right, so not to belabor the point. So he gave 3 of my 5. So I'll give the other 2. William Jackson III will be one of my top 5, and then Jamin Davis. Hopefully, we have a solid middle linebacker in him. So fingers crossed.
Okay. Let's see. I'll go back up top. Phil, what about you, man?
All right. So I'm in agreement with Chase, Terry, and William Jackson III. Curtis Samuel. Montez Sweat.
Huh. I like that one. I like Montez. I think we forget about what he did last year. What about you, Dev?
The best player on the team is Tress Way, so I'm going Tress Way.
That's a good one, man.
It is.
That's the best one in the league, man. Y'all haters. They didn't mention you. They didn't mention you, Way. I did. So you passing that jersey. I got Way, Brandon Sheriff, All Pro. Can't deny that dude. Terry McLaurin, Chase Young, and honestly, man, I want to say Montez Sweat. Honestly, I'm gonna go with William Jackson III. I think William Jackson is the best free agent signing that we've had in a while. I think he was like a top 2 or 3 corners since he's been in the league in a one-on-one coverage percentage or something crazy. Like the guy's a blanket. And to have the defensive front he has in front of him to help him out, you forget this guy was this good on Cincinnati. Those guys were like trash juice, bro. So if he can do that there, just imagine what he does for our team. So that's my 5.
Okay. And this is why, and these were just all returners that I had. I had Gibson, Sweat, McLaurin, Sheriff, and I had Chase there. And I think it's really kind of debatable on, I think the bottom 3 of that sometimes. But I think a lot of people, they're going to have Chase in that top 2. And I did have an argument with Freddie Ham on here from HTWR, and he ranked Montez over Chase. I don't know if anybody wants to die on that horse, but I'm willing to, as we say at the church, the doors of the church are open.
I think Montez is a Pro Bowler talent. I think you could have made an argument for it last year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I don't think he's better than Chase. Chase draws so much attention that frees up everyone else. It's kind of like, all right, I'm going to pull into my professor mode here. Everyone, if you remember the early 90s defenses, Fred Stokes was a monster at one defensive end. But that was because on the other defensive end was Charles Mann. Same thing, Mann benefited from having Dexter Manley on the other side for a while. So when you have a really good defensive end, like a Montez Sweat, they eat more when you have someone like Chase Young on the other side.
Yeah, I think that the transitive property pretty much is that a lot of people were upset when Chase didn't show up to OTA, the voluntary OTAs, right? And I called in Kevin Sheen's show and I told him, I said, Kevin, you can't be mad at this guy. How many people in the last, let's say 20 years of this franchise have commanded a triple team? I'll wait. No, people eat because he is the daddy. Wait till dad gets home. And you can go back, look at the game that he missed against Baltimore. Where was Montez Sweat at on that stat sheet? Nowhere to be found. I think he had maybe 1 tackle. So that's kind of where I kind of draw the line with that. And I say, you got to rank them. They may be 1A and 1B, but I think Chase is always going to be 1A there. And we get and saying going to OTAs will transfer into camp because Richmond is coming, y'all. Richmond is coming. Finally, we will be able to see our boys working out. And what battles are you all looking forward to going into training camp this year? I'll start with Rod here. What are you thinking, man?
For me, it's probably Phil might get a little bit excited with this, but right tackle. So I was really blown away that we released Morgan Moses, and I think that potentially means that Samuel Cosme out of Texas is the real deal. But I want to see if he's going to take charge and really just jump into the fire and take that right tackle spot. So I'm looking forward to see how they're going to address that position in camp, and hopefully the best guy wins. So I'm looking forward to Samuel Cosme picking up that starter slot, though.
All right, Dev, what about you, man?
I guess the one we talked about earlier at left guard, Charles, West, Flowers. That's kind of, I want to see who plays the other guard opposite of Brandon Sheriff because he's the only guy I think that has the job handed to him.
Okay. Phil, what about you, man?
I'm the line guy, and usually I'm the one who talks about all the line stuff. And these guys brought up all the line battles, and I'm about to say safety. I want to know who's going to be the starting free and the starting strong safety. Are we going to go with a hero back / monster back / nickel linebacker with Curl or Collins? Are we going to go with those two guys both on the field at the same time? Or is one going to get the nod over the other? Does Jeremy Reeves get that free safety spot? Does DeShazer Everett come back and reclaim that spot? Hell, does Derek Force take it for both of them? The safety positions we have such a wealth of potential that it's going to be real interesting to see who gets that starting nod week 1 at both free and strong safety.
Okay. All right, Steve's getting ready for this one. He had to take the hat off for it.
Yeah.
What's your
the bald head shine? You know what I'm saying? No, mine is a little out there, but I'm gonna go with the backup running back position between Jarrett Patterson and Peyton Barber. It's one that no one's really looking at, but I think Jarrett Patterson is just gonna surprise some people. So I'm looking to see him dethrone Peyton Barber, because we really didn't have a good. We had McKissick as the third down back. We just didn't have that secondary back to give Gibson a spell, who could still do what, punch the ball up the middle. And I'm excited to see Patterson.
And I'll say this, mine, because y'all kind of took it away from me, but I think mine is the battle within. And this person doesn't have any competition. At the end of the day, I think it's Dustin Hopkins. And the reason why I say this is because this team will be in a lot of close games. And it's going to come down to him kicking field goals and making them.
Right.
That's why, and that's where my biggest concern is Dustin, do they need to bring in that competition? And if so, the kicker market is not very good. That's one of the things. But can he get his can he get his life together? That's what I'm saying. Because last year he blamed it on the injury. This year, if you blame it on injury, you're a liability.
Right.
We can excuse an injury for 6, and we saw y'all be honest with me now. Who is the X factor in that Pittsburgh game?
Right. He played good at the end of the year. I'm not gonna knock Hopkins.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't play bad at the end of the year.
Yeah, and that's not a knock on Hopkins, because I like Hopkins, but I want to see him succeed, because there were a lot of points he left on the field last year. That was probably a difference between, honestly, what we want to say, 10-6 and 7-9 at some point. You think about New York. You think about that New York game up there where Ron went for it for 2. He missed did he miss the extra point or miss the field goal up there? That's some points he left on the carpet there. That might have been, and I think it was another. Detroit also left him right there forward field. Mm-hmm. It was dead. Like what they say, found dead on road. That's forward for you, and that was Dustin that day. And I mean, we can blame Chase for hitting Matt Stafford in the back, but it is what it is. But I think Dustin Hopkins, him getting himself right, I think that's the most intriguing thing, I think, going into camp. Now, Dustin
Hopkins is he's like a really old diesel engine. Mm-hmm. He takes half a season to warm up. Like if you look at him statistically, he's always better. He's always right up there with the best in terms of accuracy after week 9. Before then, that's when he's missing all of his field goals and always misses them at the worst time.
Mm-hmm. Impressive. Nobody said anything about Heineke, Fitz, or Ioannidis, Allen, and Payne. Like
that's because Fitz is going to be a starter, and we already know that.
Let me ask you this then. So, and I was thinking about this, but this isn't on the list. Apparently I deviate from it all the time. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he starts the season. This will be the 5th starting quarterback. Yeah, show that. Hold on real quick, Rod. I got you. Show that for the people.
I told Brian, I said, we got a name, man, the Caucasians. I bought this shirt like 2016. I was living in Germany, man. So,
oh man, you bought that from you bought that off of Bomani Jones. That's what happened.
Yeah, Bomani.
But Ryan Fitzpatrick, he'll be the 5th starting quarterback. Well, we're going to have the fifth starting quarterback, different starting quarterback in week 1. Does Ryan Fitzpatrick finish the season as the starter uninterrupted? And I will start back. I'll start with Dev again here.
Man, that's a good question. Honestly, I think if Fitz gets the job to start the season, which he likely will, I think he balls out and it's going to be funny. Like, I think for at least 6 to 7 games, he looks like the best quarterback in the division.
Mm-hmm.
And then he nosedives like Egypt Air right after that. But I still think he plays. I wonder how long it would take. If Heineke outplays him clearly in preseason, do you still start Fitzpatrick? What if he clearly just kills it in preseason and then Fitz doesn't?
Are you saying clearly as in clearly
if he goes
against
up there and Fitzpatrick's like bad
backups?
Fitzpatrick in preseason? Like if he goes in preseason, throws like a bunch of interceptions.
Heineke's only going to play against backups.
I mean, if it's a competition, he might get a first team, game.
I've read 0 reports about him getting any time with the ones. 0.
Yeah, I think
it's a competition. I don't think it's a competition.
Anyways, yeah, I don't think it is either. But
to make up from last year, that wasn't it was a competition.
So I'll ask you this on top of that: did Ron learn from last year?
Of course not.
He didn't learn from last year when he said it's going to make it a competition, and just because he did say competition. Before he started Haskins, he said that they were going to go into camp and there was going to be a competition. Clearly, there was not, and clearly, it's probably not going to be one this year.
Allen should have got that job last year.
I'll say this because I went to Richmond last year, and
mm-hmm.
I did see, or not last year, but the year before, and Haskins was getting run with ones and twos and threes, and I remember. Everything I heard from training camp last year said that all the quarterbacks on the roster were getting run with the ones, with the exception, of course, of Alex Smith, who was getting run on the sidelines. But I think that what he's doing is that he's leaving the door open that if Heineke or Allen just look so good that they earn reps with the ones, they'll get that. But they have to earn those reps.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't think it's a competition we don't know who our starter is. He even said it. Going into camp, Fitz is the number 1. It's his job to lose. That's different than we don't, it's anybody's game, which is what a real competition would be.
All right. Anybody else with a rebuttal on that one? Fitz finishing starting the year and finishing it uninterrupted.
He only loses the job. He only loses the job by injury, in my opinion.
No, I think he's gone. I think he's gone by week 7 because our fan base is not the brightest, and we're gonna go back to 2013/14, and we're gonna be screaming for the backup because that's what we do here in DC because we got Stockholm syndrome, and so I think it shouldn't matter what we think. For putting a product on the field, it shouldn't matter what our opinion is. Our opinion means nothing. It means dog S. If I'm not going to curse, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I don't think he survives, and it's not because it's going to be his own doing. It's going to be because I'm going to feel that he's going to have the pressure. Ron's going to have the pressure from the fans.
I think it's Ryan Fitzpatrick's first time in his career that he's going to have a defense that he doesn't have to play hero ball with.
Mm-hmm.
So he started 16 games 3 times in his career, 6-10, 6-10, and then 10-6. 10-6 season came in. He was 33 with the Jets in was his 2015. So I think he does start all 16. I think he is our Brad Johnson of 1999, and he'll be successful.
Wow.
I'm going to say that he's going to probably be one of our most competent quarterbacks. I was pissed when we signed this guy. But I think he's probably going to be one of our most competent quarterbacks we've had in a while, who could check down when necessary, but will be willing to stretch the field and take those chances that Kirk Cousins probably wasn't willing to take a couple seasons ago when he was our quarterback. So I hope so, man. I don't want to play the quarterback roulette. I hate it, man. Like we started Washington Football Addicts formerly Redskins Addicts, because of the constant QB divide. It's part of our fan base. I mean, I'm pretty sure Phil can go look at the history, but it's was it Billy and Kilmer and who else?
Billy Kilmer and Sonny Jurgensen. It was
Fan and Cousins.
It was Jay and Doug.
Yep.
It was for a hot second. It was Stan Humphries and Mark Rippon. And honestly,
Tony, what's his name? Banks and
Kent Graham.
Yeah.
Banks was the ultimate
Warfield, right?
We once debated Rex Grossman and John Beck, ladies and gentlemen. That is where we're at.
No, y'all debated that. I never wanted John Beck.
Here and y'all,
That was a beast of Madden for me, though. Okay, I'm gonna back away from the mic.
Oh Lord, we might have to Steve you in a minute and put that down. See, and this is where I'm at in this quarterback competition, and you just mentioned it, Rod. We've got Rex Grossman and John Beck again. Like I really believe this because I've seen Psycho so many times, and I know Norman Bates' mom is not in the shower. That's actually Norman Bates because I've seen it 16 times. I've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick 16 times. His best defense was probably 2014 in Houston, where they only managed a 7-9 record. This is where I get at with. I want him to succeed. I just know he's like an ex-girlfriend that you try to go back to. Anna, don't take this for anything if you're still watching this, but you go back to that ex-girlfriend or ex-spouse, whatever you got, and you know why you left them when you get back with them. We've seen it before.
I never can say goodbye.
Exactly. I've read this book before. I've seen the movie. I want to trust that he's gotten his life back together, but it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, man. I don't, my heart doesn't want me to be like just go in with it. This guy will get you there.
Hey, Corey, check it out. So Ron didn't go out and try to get Matthew Stafford just to say, we want Taylor Heineke instead. No, Taylor Heineke is a consolation. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a consolation. If you have two quarterbacks who are about this like talent level, just a little bit off, you don't have a franchise quarterback. You have two dudes who are almost the same amount of talent. So we do not have a quarterback.
Nope.
We do not have a true franchise quarterback. We have two guys. We have guys. That's it.
Yeah. Jags. Just a guy. Two of them.
Guy.
So I agree with you 110% there, Phil.
We got Steven Montez. Y'all tripping.
Oh, his internet dropped.
He loves Steven Montez, bro.
Steven Montez, bro.
He loves Montez.
Spanish Jesus, as Third Down calls him on. Yeah, one of my subscribers calls him.
Isn't Jesus a Spanish name? I mean, wouldn't it just be?
So is he the Redeemer out of Brazil?
Yeah, he's on the mountaintop. He's got number 6 on the mountaintop.
Hey, I got a question. What do you think about Bobby McCann or whatever, Kane or whatever, man? Is he gonna be a factor at free safety? No one talks about that guy.
Yeah, damn, dude. I don't know. I'm not thinking about him. Maybe that's on my behalf, but yeah, it's a good point.
That's another name that I didn't even think of with the safety.
Mm-hmm. That's a good problem to have.
You can see him and Curl. You can see him and Curl. Right. You can see him and Curl out there at safety, and then using Landon as kind of like the Buffalo strong safety.
Yeah,
Buffalo nickel.
Right.
And y'all forget how versatile McCain is too. He started out his career playing in the slot, as a corner. So this guy, he does too much, and that's a great problem to have. And speaking of too much, Dave Roberts says, shout out to Corey for the best background and the dope analogy. I'm going to text my ex-girlfriend now. What's up, Fitzpatrick? How you doing, 14? Don't throw that. You know he's going to be there. That safety going to cover. He's shading. Oh, Lord, that's big 6 right there. Let me stop. But thank you so much, Dave, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Salute to you, my friend. But yeah, I don't know, fellas.
Getting money, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, we trying to, man. We got to pay for training camp somehow. We got to pay for.
I like it.
Yeah, we got to pay. So we be on location in a couple of weeks. So we y'all brought up McCain, veterans. Who will be the biggest surprise cut as far as veterans go at the end of the preseason? I'll start with you, Phil.
I don't know if it'd be the biggest surprise cut, but the biggest name cut is going to be Steven Sims. He is out of here. He was out of here by the time the season was over. We didn't have anybody else put in there. He's out of here. We got too many guys who can play the slot that can return kicks now. Sorry, Steven Sims, you're gone.
Okay. All right, Rod, what do you think, man?
Me, I'm gonna agree with the chat, man. So I had it on my sheet, but I think All World Sports says Collins. That's what I'm saying as well, man. I think Collins. So I look at Landon Collins. He has a huge contract.
Mm-hmm.
You got the potential of lesser paid players providing similar, even better production. It's an easy scenario. So I think the way Washington football team is going to potentially play this is you look across the league. If someone gets hurt in preseason and it's a strong safety, and Landon Collins is potentially expendable, and we could get some sort of mid-round compensation for him, pay maybe 50% of his salary, I would do it. So I think Landon Collins would be the surprise cut or the biggest risk being cut.
Oh, okay.
Well, they can't cut him. They can't cut him straight up. It's a $16.7 million cap hit. So if they don't trade him or pay and trade him, he's not getting cut. But if your scenario plays out, yeah, it's a good one.
How much did we pay Morgan Moses to get cut though? What was his cap hit?
It was like 1 or 2 million.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
It wasn't that much. Okay.
So speaking of the dollars and everything, Dave Roberts bounced back. Round of drinks for y'all at camp then. Oh, okay. All right then. Y'all got to come and find me then. And shout out to Dave Roberts. Thank you so much for the $25 super chat. We are making it rain up in here. Shout out to my boy Toothpick as well. Yes, it's the same Toothpick on the Team 980. My boy.
Dave, I got a light bill, dude. If you want to.
Some people are still looking for PS5, Dave. What's up, bro?
Like, man, shoot.
I got it already.
Gunny Man says Humphreys, hail to the football, hail to Washington. $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. That could be big. I mean, Adam Humphreys could be one there. But Dev, what do you think, man?
John Bostic. I think he's gone. Now, they have a lot of, I guess, Jamin Davis, and they have David Mayo, Jared Norris. I think those guys are going to be your middle linebacker. I don't really see what John Bostic's role would be, especially if he's not a starter. If he's not a starter, what do you have besides a guy that can't cover? Yeah, I think John Bostic.
You know, kind of reminds me of John Bostic. When we bring up John Bostic, it reminds me of that barbershop scene in Coming to America when they said, "Oh, he beat Joe Lewis's ass."
He did beat Joe Lewis's ass.
He beat Andy Dalton's ass. So,
yes, they won. Yes, they won.
Steve, what do you think, man? Who's going to be the veteran cut?
Troy App. No, I'm just kidding. Dev took mine. I was going to say John Bostic as well. $3.5 million for a backup outside linebacker. I don't see it. You could say Lamar Miller, but he's not getting paid anything anyway. So I'd say John Bostic. That linebacker room's getting kind of crowded.
Do they still have that COVID list where you can keep 5 guys without nobody touching them?
That I don't know. I don't know if they've released the practice squad rules for this year. I don't know for sure.
I like that practice squad.
Yeah, when you could put veterans on a practice squad. Yeah.
Okay. So we talk about, and I don't think, and y'all have talked to her, and I've talked to her as well. I think Julie Donaldson will be in the room rooting for her fellow Florida alumni and John Bostic. So I don't know if he's gonna go anywhere or not, but shout out to Julie. So I think Ron Rivera, he keeps on getting disrespected, y'all. Ranked 17th in this coaching ranking by what is this? NBC Sports Edge. I guess the edge was kind of dull here, as you have Kyle Shanahan, Frank Reich, Matt LaFleur, Mike Zimmer, Mike Vrabel, Brian Flores, Kevin Stefanski, and then you have Ron Rivera at 17. I don't know what y'all's initial thoughts were on this. I know it's a ranking, but it seemed kind of disrespectful a couple of those coaches that were right up there in front. And I don't know. I've lost track again. So Rod, I'll go with you. What were your thoughts about this?
I actually love it.
You love it?
Okay. Play the underdog, perhaps, but I look at Ron Rivera's coaching history. 10 years as a coach, 83, 72, and 1, 535 winning percentage. But only 3 of those 10 seasons have been winning seasons. So he went 12-4, 15-1, 11-5 in Carolina. Everything else is below 500. So I'm honestly, I think it's perhaps okay. I have to look at the record of the other guys around him. But I think that's perhaps a fair assessment. Yeah, I think that he has to prove himself outside of Cam Newton playing that Super Bowl that 1 year for the Carolina Panthers. But they had a stout defense in Carolina, and they came up short numerous times. And I think perhaps for that is his Riverboat Ron took over at times, and he made some silly decisions as a head coach. So we'll see. But I'm not too mad at it. I think I can live with that.
Okay. I think the two that really kind of stick out there to me right now are Mike Zimmer and whereas I think Brian Flores. Those were the ones that kind of stuck in my crow a little bit. But Steve, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's kind of like Rod said. It's better to be flying under the radar than have all these great expectations and then you can't live up to them. So I'm not going to say you set the bar low, but the bar is about middle tier, which is fine. One season at 7-9 doesn't make you a world beater as a coach.
Steve saying dream medium.
Dream medium.
Now, I just want to know: is that low bar sponsored by Ryan Fitzpatrick? That's the only thing I need to know. Is that low bar like this? That we're gonna?
No, that's why he ain't 25th. Shit. I mean,
oh, you good?
I'm choking on my drink, Corey. Damn, dog.
What
about you, Dan? What do you think about that? You cool with it?
I mean, I'm cool with it, but what's a travesty on the list? I can't name two coaches better than Mike Tomlin. Y'all stupid. CBS they're stupid, man. There's not two coaches in the NFL better than Mike Tomlin. They got him at 10. That's what I'm more mad about. That's crazy, dude. So, but yeah, I guess.
Oh, he'd be higher if he didn't like to run on the field and mess up players when they're trying to run.
He should be number one because of that.
That's an IQ boost on Madden, bro.
Right.
I'm just looking forward to the mentorship between Big Ben and Dwayne Haskins and what clubs in trouble and glitter they can get into. But anyway, Phil, what is your thought on that?
I think it could have been. It's not the worst ranking. It's not horribly disrespectful. I would have put him somewhere between 13 and 15. So it's not like it's way off. I mean, I would give some credit. Look at everything that happened last year, and 7-9, but they still won when it counted, came together, and won the division nonetheless. So there is something to that, and he did that with a roster that was largely 3-13 a year before, and he went through four quarterbacks, and still managed to win the division and play a competitive playoff game. Didn't win, but it was a competitive playoff game with a team that was 3-13 the year before, and the entire world had written off as just they finally have hit rock bottom where we think they belong. So there is something to that. But I think that, you're looking at maybe 13 to 15 right now after this season with everything I think they're going to do. It'll be higher next year.
Yeah. I'm kind of where you are. Like, I didn't think he was like top 10, but I was like maybe 15 and maybe 14 at the worst. But when I see at number 10, that bastard Kyle Shanahan, sorry, didn't mean to say that. But when I see Kyle Shanahan, who's had 3 losing seasons, I don't care about the talent they've acquired, everything. He's got 3 losing seasons. He's number 10. I mean, I know he can hit a garage or something from a roof, but I've got hate.
We acquired talent, and our coach is 17. So
that's what. There you go. I rest my case there. But I'll go around. This is my last question for you guys. I told you I'd keep you a little bit, just an hour. And from the annals of the T980, and Kevin Sheehan, he always says every week, he says, Washington wins if. Washington wins the NFC East if, Phil. What do you think?
The injury bug stays to a manageable minimum.
Okay. All right. Washington wins if, Rod, wins that NFC East.
If Dak Prescott does not have a breakout season for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm sorry to say it. I'm going to talk about an opposing team in the NFC East. I know that we all hate the Cowboys, in this franchise and fan base, but I still do think that Dallas is a team to beat. I think that us finishing 7-9, the Giants and the Cowboys finishing 6-10 last year, and the injuries, losing Saquon Barkley, huge for the Giants. Losing Dak Prescott, huge for the Cowboys. Losing Dwayne Haskins for the Redskins, Washington football team, nah, not really. So I think we backed ourselves into the playoffs. I am hopeful that we have a mind-blowing season. But, we need our competitors to play like crap like they did last year for us to win the East again.
I think so. I don't know, man. Because Dak Prescott still was 0-5 or something. The only game he won is the one where Atlanta don't know how to pick up a daggone onside kick. That's the only game he won. So
dude, that defense was allowing 32 points a game.
Do you think their defense is going to allow 30 points a game this year then? What did they do?
That's what I'm saying.
I think no matter if Dak plays good or not, they're going to suck. Dak's going to be all right. He was good last year and they were terrible. So – I don't.
I'm with Dev. I think the Giants are more of a threat until Dallas shores up that defense a little more. If our offense can play as well as we think they can, our offense can put up an easy 30 on Dallas's defense right now.
I think as long as our offensive line stays up, we can beat them. We can win.
We put 25 and 40 on them last year with Kyle Allen and Alex Smith.
Right. They went heavy in defense in the draft this year, man, in off season. So
they got Micah Parsons and
okay.
They got a rough one there. So Dev, I guess you may have kind of said your answer, but what are your thoughts? Is that handling the Giants and making sure they're taken care of, or what do you?
I think it's if our offensive line stays healthy, I think that we're good to go as far as the NFC East. Okay. I think that's the key to it because I'm like you guys. I put Fitz and Heineke. I think they bring kind of two different things to the table as far as the athleticism of Heineke and versus the arm of Fitz. But I think they're both the same level as far as what they can take our offense to. I don't think one is going to make our team way better than the other. I know Phil disagrees. I don't think one makes them way better. Marginally arguable. But I don't see us going from what we are now to the greatest show on turf. I read sign language. Keller.
Read my lips. Fitz.
Tragic. Oh. Fitz.
Hey,
I thought you said Fitz tragic.
Fitz. What's his face from South Dakota?
Oh no.
That's some haters.
Oh,
Steven Montez.
Oh,
I don't know where he's
Colorado.
Yeah.
One of them. I don't know.
Spanish Jesus. Spanish Jesus. That's right. Bernie
Spanish Jesus.
Jesus touchdown. I can see it now. Bram Weinstein say touchdown Jesus. But would Notre Dame get offended by that if we said touchdown Jesus as opposed to touchdown Jesus?
There was a whole war built on changing stuff over the
maybe our new nickname instead of the Caucasians, maybe we could be the Washington Gringos.
I'm down for that.
What name do you like, Corey? What's your name?
Corey.
So this is what I've said, and I'm going to say this as candidly as I can possible because I can't say this publicly. I'm going to say it now. I could care less what the name is. We could be the Washington Ass Slickers, and if we're winning, lick for old DC. That's all I care. But in all seriousness,
nothing wrong with licking ass if you don't love guys.
You missed your opportunity to say Warpath, Corey.
Hey,
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
No, I'm not gonna be. See, because I'm gonna be that little rat bastard who holds all the names up. That's exactly what I'm gonna do, and y'all gonna hate me for that. So I don't want it to be named Washington Warpath because I'm cool with Red Wolves because, to be honest with you, I've already got my logo designed if we transfer over there, and I'm good at howling and everything. So
what does one of them sound like? Let's hear it.
There you go. Hold on.
You studied at Cambridge, fellas.
Dartmouth for a week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, went to a conference for work. Whew. Ow! See, that worked.
It sounded
Let's go.
If we're gonna go with that name, if we're gonna go with that name, then we're gonna go to. I think we're gonna go with this right here.
Watching the Fast Blacks.
Right there.
Where you at? Oh shoot. Where you at?
Oh man, went away. Never mind. Oh, hold on. I got it now. Stupid.
This is Rodney's internet.
Listen, blame Spectrum, not Rodney.
Swagger, sir. Oh God, I'm not putting that up there. I'm not putting that up there.
Man.
Shout out to Bro Science for that shirt.
I'm not messing with you. I'm not.
You change it to Cowboys with a silent Q at the beginning or some shit.
Oh God. No, they're gonna be called the Dallas Jangos because the D is silent. Oh gosh, somebody said that one day, so I'm like, I don't know. Phil, I know you. I gotta ask you this question: Washington wins the NFC East if.
Well, I said
Steve. Sorry, Steve. Not Phil. Steve. Sorry.
That's racist.
So, for the record, I had the same theory as Rodney. If the Cowboys, if that can be his old self, I think it's our biggest competition. But to me, I'm not going to take the same answer. If our offense can be just slightly better than that ass juice of quarterback carousel we had last year, 39% third down conversions, 30th in the league at total yardage. The offense was garbage outside of Antonio Gibson and what little Terry McClure could shine. So if we can just be a little bit better on offense, then we'll be fine. I'm not worried about the Giants because Daniel Jones is not good. Not worried about Eagles because Jalen Hurts is not good. So really, it just comes down to Dallas. And if our offense has got to be that third down, the offense last year, y'all remember, man, was just horrendous. Couldn't move the ball 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. McKissick comes in
What's our record? What's our record versus Dak and our record versus Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones is the co-owner of the Washington football team, so he's like 99-0. I'm just kidding.
I keep choosing Dak, man. I mean,
he's better. He's better than Daniel Jones. It's not even an argument. Yeah. Not even an argument.
Better, like their record versus us, like head to head, those quarterbacks' records, they own us, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, for me, like, yes, we went 2-0 versus Dallas last year. Dak wasn't there.
And neither was Devontae Smith.
I mean, we went 0-2 versus the Giants, and Saquon Barkley wasn't there.
Right.
And like, he's the best offensive player they have. So I think it's ignorant, perhaps. Like, you have to step away from homerism and say, like, we got the division. No one's done it since 2004 when Philly had it like 3 seasons in a row to repeat as NFC East champ. So I'm hopeful that we do it, but I mean, history says otherwise. So we'll see. Fingers crossed, man.
And y'all know this too. I think this team can be better this year and not even win the division. Now it just depends on what you're playing with, how Dallas reacts, how the Giants react. Because I said this going into last year, I was like, "Who is Judge Joe Judy?" And then I was like, "Oh, Joe Judge." Like Joe Judge, he's putting some little spark up in the Giants. I think this is the reason why he is probably the chosen protege from both Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, because I think this guy he's got something. And when they kind of hit on their cylinders, I think they're a force to be reckoned with. But let's be honest, You can put anybody. Ben Maca don't. It don't matter. Shermer, they still beating us for some reason. So we've got to get over that hump. But we'll see. You got to play the games, right? And it's going to be interesting. I think it may come down to week 17. It may come down to week 17 in the Meadowlands. Yeah. I think that is going to be that key game. Now we can sit here and bam about those last 5 games, but you got to play who's on there. So, but fellas, I appreciate y'all. I have come to the end of my list. This has been awesome. It's been amazing. And I feel honored that all you guys came on here to join in on the fun. Thank you all who have come in here. Brian, Gunner, I saw Dubs in here. Old Man Bay is up in here too. Angus Man and all of Instagram. Check him out. Roger Smith, Mrs. Anna, thank you. Dwayne, my cousin at All World Sports. Check him out. Abel, how you doing too? Dave for the super chats. Mr. Cool, Deadly Force, all you guys. Ali, if I missed you, I'm sorry, but I will let you guys. We'll run the gambit one last time. Any final thoughts? I'll start with Phil, and we'll make our way all around.
Shout out to Mr. Al Jacobs in the chat, who knows that he's a new Washington football team fan, came to us formerly a Panthers fan. Glad to have you on the bandwagon. So shout out to him. Shout out to you, Corey, for having us on. Shout out to everybody on the podcast for showing up tonight. And shout out to me for my Washington Way Back series just kicked off.
Okay.
Shameless plug.
Hey, we're going to check that out. Rob, man, what's your final thoughts?
Oh, man, just like I said, man, it's awesome having us on the pod. We really appreciate it. You've been posting in the Addicts group for a while now. This is long overdue. I really appreciate your content. Long-time subscriber. I haven't really been part of your live streams. I will admit to that. But I do listen to your content when it comes on. And you always do a great job, man. So this was too easy when Steve said, hey, we got an opportunity to jump on with Corey, man, and jump on the Warpath and talk a little bit of Washington football. So I said, yeah, absolutely, man. Let's do it. So thanks for having us on. We always do shout-outs. So shout-outs to everyone who's a fan of Corey's. If you like what we brought to the pod tonight, just ask you, hey, give us a like, give us a follow. I dropped our link tree in the the chat as well, and then obviously Corey has all of our links in the Twitter or the YouTube description as well. So this was an honor, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Steve, how about you, brother?
Hey, yeah, kind of same song as everybody else. Thanks for having us, Corey. It was I'm glad I did reach out to you. We talked, so appreciate you having it. We'd love to have you on our pod / YouTube show sometime. Hope you could return the favor and come pay us a visit and bless us on our side sometime. So thanks again.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, anytime. Y'all just let me know. I'll be there with bells and whistles. Dev, I'm going to end up with you, and we're going to end it with you, and hopefully the band is over with for you. But what are your final thoughts?
Man, shout out to you, Corey, and on the Warpath for having us here. It's we're all fans. We all love being Washington football, Redskins fans. From the beginning. To answer a question earlier, we didn't come in from the Panthers. We've been fans mostly all of our lives. So again, Al, thank you for being watching, and becoming a fan with us, man. And watch both our podcasts and YouTube channels, man. We lit, bro.
Yeah.
Just say that shit.
Corey, we got to have you on the barbershop episode, and you have to drink more than water. That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Oh dear God!
You can more than water too if you want to.
I like my job, so I don't want nobody getting that. I'll go buy a handle of Rumple Mints, and I'll come and join y'all.
I drink Rumple Mints.
Hey man, hey,
you and Dev get along.
Hey,
right.
He's been speaking my language all day, so. Yeah. But y'all, I appreciate it, guys. If y'all did the subscribe and to the 2000 giveaway, I'm extending that until the end of this month to get some more people in there. And then I will do that live. Remember, we're giving away a jersey. We're giving away a couple of NFL.com gift cards. So make sure y'all go and sign up for that. I will put that, since I didn't put it in the comments, I will make sure to put that on a post on my community tab. But y'all go check these fellas out. They have great. I don't have my glass on, but damn, that thing looks good.
This?
My cup runneth over, man. That looks nice. I like that.
You can
That's-
take Dev. Dev
send
made
me-
the.
Send me your DM me your address and stuff. I'll send you one. Bro.
Absolutely. I sure will, man. And y'all, I'm gonna get with y'all afterwards too. So hey, I'm Sanchez 405, and for the addicts, not Tyrone Bigham's addicts, but the Washington Football Addicts, you got any more than podcast over there? You can go check them out and subscribe to them. Love, peace, and hell. And I will talk to you next time. We out.
Peace.
Let's see here.